Hello indie game fans, what a week, what a week. The past one has been full of surprises and announcements, and this week even brings us the Steam Game Festival, so plenty more indie games to get excited about. Really huge week of new releases with a ton of interesting titles, and for the sake of variety, I'll swap out some of the often mentioned titles, so my picks of the top 10 best indie games of the week begins with Almas Legacy. This is the follow-up to the excellent puzzle Metroidvania Almas Awakening, only with a more vibrant 16-bit pixel art style as compared to the 8-bit of the first. But interestingly enough, this is not exactly a direct sequel and is more of a remaster of sorts. I've been looking forward to this ever since it was announced, since it looks absolutely beautiful, and one of the wonderful parts of the first game was that it was non-linear and you could sequence break and complete the game without getting all of the upgrades. With less of a focus on combat, this one is something to explore if you have never tried a more puzzle-focused Metroidvania. Cheating a little bit here, but the gorgeous survival game Among Trees got a surprise early access launch on the Epic Games Store during one of those conferences, and yet again, is another title that I've been looking forward to. It reminds me, unsurprisingly, of The Long Dark, only with more blues and greens, but has a similar gameplay loop of scavenging in the wild for resources, hunting, chopping trees and so on, with the expected crafting mechanics. Interestingly, you have a home base in the form of a small wooden cabin, which you can expand and upgrade, as well as what looks like a farming system to grow plants, but of course, the highlight has to be the visuals. Oh my gosh, I instantly fell in love with Rune, the First Wanderer the moment I watched the trailer. Since this is a minimalistic pixel art exploration platformer about, surprise surprise, an amnesiac girl who has to find a way to recover her lost memories. Would you just look at the pixel art? Beautiful use of the medium, especially in the environments and skylines, with such care and attention given to simple things like grass and flowers. Very detailed in the dense areas like the village, with appropriately sized characters that makes it all work. While there is platforming and combat, the exploration of this dreamy world and the storytelling looks like the focus, which, like Almas Legacy above, is a nice change of pace from the usual combat-heavy titles. Almost missed out on this one, but I think Desperados III manages to slip in with a relatively small team and is a real-time tactics game, which is the latest entry in a series that dates back to 2001. Canonically, this serves as the prequel to the first game, where you play as a gunslinger in the Wild West. The real-time tactics genre is pretty interesting, somewhere in between a full-fledged RTS and a turn-based tactics game, where you control unique individual characters with different skills and abilities, but must coordinate them to pull off your mission. There are stealth elements, where you can be sneaky or choose to go loud, so plenty of options and interesting tactical choices. It does look fantastic visually as well, and given that this developer's last game was Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun, I have very high hopes for this. Next to Cyberpunk, the Old West seems to be quite the popular setting this year, so do look out for more such games.
Do you remember the story of the Guardians? They were the protectors of the ocean and the door.
Another long-anticipated title of mine has been Summer in Mara, an exploration farming sim set on a tropical archipelago where you have to take care of your own island while exploring the ocean. It is semi-open world with 20 islands to explore, 25 characters to meet, and even a central villain in the form of an evil corporation. You can farm, fish, craft, chop trees, raise animals, complete objectives, and so on, so very Stardew Valley-like in nature. There are fantasy elements here, with strange creatures in the world, and even a day-night cycle and climate changes, so very ambitious in concept and one for farming game fans.
Will the door ever open?
Just a quick note, if you are new here and enjoyed the video so far, be sure to subscribe and check out the Discord channel while you are at it. Here's to more indie gaming coverage, so back to the video.
Purgatory, Wyoming, 1888.
The super stylish West of Dead also makes it to launch, where you play as a dead man walking and engage in twin-stick cover-based shooting.
I got a job to do, but it ain't always that simple.
Fight outlaws and monsters as you explore this dark, twisted and chaotic world. However, for some reason, details on the game are a little bit scarce, since there's mention of procedurally generated elements but no official mention of it being a roguelite, as well as not much detail on plot and story. So a mystery for now, but worth the experience for sure.
Some say a coward dies 1,000 deaths, and a hero only dies once. I says, a hero is someone who keeps coming back.
Based on the feedback from the open beta launch in March, the reception has been pretty positive to the core mechanics, and hey, who doesn't love Ron Perlman? One of the more unique roguelite deck builders is Griftlands by Clay Entertainment, which makes it to Steam after a period on the Epic Games Store. While it struggled initially to find its footing, starting off as a roguelite RPG, then transitioning into a card game, I think that this developer has really found their groove with this game, with the card-based combat in quotes applying to both conversations and actual fights. It's a very rich and detailed sci-fi world filled with all sorts of alien creatures, the design of which are quite unique, so it certainly adds something new to the genre. In the current build, there are two main characters with their respective story campaigns, with a third one in the works, where, to be honest, it does feel like you were Han Solo or something, exploring the planet, playing factional politics and pitting enemies against each other. As is expected of Clay, unparalleled art and animation, so if you were holding out, a good time to get on board. 2016's Curious Expedition is a beloved roguelite strategy title about exploring unknown regions and adventuring, so expect it to be bigger and better with Curious Expedition 2.
I've been looking forward to this day my entire life. The moment we finally blend our worlds into one.
There were no people to be seen.
They're not exactly people, they're gods.
I think that the early access launch of The Waylanders was also confirmed at one of those not E3 presentations, and boy, this Kickstarter funded party-based CRPG is a beauty to behold. This has turn-based with paused combat, reminding me of something like the original Dragon Age or Neverwinter Nights 2, so if you love classic CRPGs, this is one to check out. This is a time-traveling story that has you moving through two time periods of medieval Spain and Celtic myths. with 6 basic and 30 advanced character classes, 5 playable races, companions, loyalty missions, and so on, it does seem to be very ambitious and has, unsurprisingly, some of the people that have been there before with ex-BioWare and ex-Telltale developers. This version will include about 25% of the content, so as someone with a soft spot for CRPGs but admittedly don't have the time to play them, I hope this one does well, if only to carry on the mid-sized studio legacy. I did just recently mention Cooked Canyon and made notes of how simple and beautiful the pixel art in this game is, with monotone characters, enemies and environmental objects, but combined with shadows, lighting and ever so subtle variation in tone, resulting in a fantastic looking game. An action roguelite shooter set, again, in the Wild West, shoot your way through outlaws on a quest to save your kidnapped partner. Next to pixel art Metroidvania, the pixel art roguelite probably comes in second place for me, so a no-brainer pick, taking the number 1 spot. To see more of the big picture, check out these awesome videos and I will see you after the jump.